Welcome to my channel, guys. This is your girl once again. Today I'll be showing you how I prepared my delicious egusi. Egusi is a Nigerian soup. We use it to eat different kind of swallow, eba, fufu and the rest. So I started out by cutting out my vegetables. So I have different types of vegetables here. I am going to be using my bitter leaf, which you're seeing me cutting into tiny bites. I only want the flavor from the bitter leaf, and I didn't want to squeeze it out. I wanted to have the leaves inside it also. So I'm using my bitter leaves, I'm using my ugu, which is my pumpkin leaves, and then I'm using my water leaf. So you can see me the reason why I'm dicing this, or should I say slicing this into tiny bits, is because I just wanted it to blend in with the soup that I was cooking. So that was why I did it that way. So I'll be slicing it and making sure that it came out the right way. Now the reason why I'm using three different kinds of vegetables is because I didn't just want that ordinary taste. If I had wanted one type of egusi, I would have gone for that, but I didn't want a one type egusi. I wanted the flavor and the juices from the three vegetables coming together, and I also wanted to have a different kind of taste. These days watching my weight is something, so I thought, and together with the medicine in it and just the good things it has to the health, I decided to add it into it. So I left that when I was done, and I cut my fish into bits. The reason why these fish are these sizes is because we are going to be eating it with some other things, so we don't want them to be too big. So I fried my onions. I made sure I fried my onions to the point where I really liked it, and I always like to put salt into my either palm oil, into my white oil, just to give the onions itself a taste. So I poured in my pepper. I took it from the freezer, so I had to let it defrost, and I fried it. Then after frying it to a point, I didn't want it to fry to the end, because I was going to be using that pepper to boil my fish. So I decided to put in my stock from meat and chicken. So that is what I'm going to be using. Then after that one has defrost in the stew, then I am going to put in my fish, add some seasonings, and then I'm going to cover and allow it to simmer for some minutes. Then I'll come back and you will see what I'm just doing. Now, egusi is a popular dish in Nigeria. I think everybody should know how to prepare it by now, but if you don't, you can watch me. So my mom requested for a particular type of egusi, and I knew that the way I was going to prepare this egusi, I couldn't prepare it that way. So while I was preparing this one, I was preparing another one. So the other one was the one with the lumps. The difference is not that much, but just that this is the one that I was preparing with the lumps. And I know because I had to put fish in that one, the egusi wouldn't form into that lump as well. My mom used to say it sometimes back that when there was nothing, these lumps was the fish and meat that they ate in their soup and in their stews. So that was what she requested for. She said she loved it. So I decided to prepare it in another pot, and you'll see what I'll do with it later on in this video. Keep watching, guys. For some people, they will allow this egusi to fry, but I had allowed it to fry, and I didn't want it to fry so much because it's swollen. If it were to be me, I would have taken it on my own. But my parents are aged somehow, and they don't need to eat something that is dry again. Moreover, I also can't eat something that is too dry for my mouth. So I only did boiling instead, fried it for a few minutes, then boiled it, then put my water, added my remaining stock, and then allowed it to cover and allow it to simmer for some minutes. Then after some minutes, I decided to go in with my egusi, and I decided to go in with my leaves instead. So I went with my different types of leaves. Now the leaves cannot be put at the same time because the texture of those leaves are quite different from one another. So you can't put both leaves at the same time. So you allow for one to cook before you put in the other one. Just know that when you have started putting in your leaves, your stew is almost ready. After your stew is ready, you can decide to put it into it. And can you see those lumps, guys? That was the reason why I prepared this one separate, just for the lumps. And when I was done with that, I decided to add into that one together because the lumps had already formed and they can't at this stage scatter again except with excessive stirring. So you will notice that in this plate, after I've added my vegetables and added this egusi that I've made into lumps, I didn't stir that much again. I was just shaking the pot just for it to get under. So that was the only thing that I was doing. No, the stirring isn't much as before again, and that's because we don't want the lumps to eventually scatter in the pot. Am I the only one that thinks that soup in the fridge or freezer always tastes good the next day when you bring them out? But sorry to say, guys, I just love cooking every day. So we did some snail frying, steaming, and I decided to add them into this pot of egusi. So we can call this the snail fish egusi pot of stew. So if you have this at home, you can just decide to put it. So I rinsed it because I noticed that it was coming from the freezer. I noticed that it was looking kind of somehow, and it's been a while since it's been in the freezer. Not that long, but I just wanted to wash it. So I washed it, put it into it, added my crayfish. My crayfish is very, very important. Then added my Maggi, my seasoning cube, like you have seen me put the other time into it, and that will be all for my egusi. Added my fish and the rest, cover it and let it simmer for some minutes, and then your pot of egusi soup is ready to be eaten. If you love my video and you have watched up to this point, kindly subscribe. Click the subscribe button. I would really love for you to do that, to watch more episodes of my cooking series. With love from your girl. Enjoy.